Redditors who get out of bed right away in the morning, how do you just get up and not hit snooze repeatedly? Okay, Splenda Monkey said. It comes naturally for the most part. I go to bed and wake up at the same time nearly every day. Also, I have 2 dogs trained to expect the schedule, so if I don't get up early on my own there will be a dog standing on my chest. Radioactive Apocalypse said. I wake up at 7 a.m. every day of my life. Regardless of whether it's a work day, weekend, whatever. I always set an alarm when I need to be up for work, but I wake naturally at 6:50 and wait for my alarm to go off. Recently I haven't bothered with my alarm and just get up at 7 a.m. without an alarm and feel ready and awake. Daylight saving time always wrecks me though. Refreshing username said. As a teenager, I realized that I needed to put my alarm as far from my bed as possible so that I would have to get up and move to turn the alarm off. That's a good practice I would recommend. Also, I had a dorm roommate in college who used snooze repeatedly when I was still sleeping. I nearly killed him. He made me hate snooze buttons. Squirrelfoot said. No. You are doing it wrong. You carefully calculate when you need to get up, set your alarm for then, and get straight out of it as soon as it rings. Stop the torture of longing to stay in bed when you know you need to get up, and just bite the bullet. The way you can maximize your sleeping time, and be much happier and more productive. It's just a good habit to adopt, and it gets easier and easier the more you do it. Frame Gray said. Long before my husband retired, he made generous use of the snooze. Since he was hard of hearing, it was loud. One morning, I reached out and turned it off. From that morning on I taught myself to wake myself up at a particular time so that I could wake him. I did this for years and years, even when I got my own job and had to wake at 4:30 a.m. Anything to avoid hearing the snooze. Srirach no big deal said. Also, I had a dorm roommate in college who used snooze repeatedly when I was still sleeping. I nearly killed him. I was roommates with a dude who was a walk-on on the football team my sophomore year in college. He was the exact same, except he had to make it to early morning practices weightlifting or WE, so he set his first alarm for like 4 a.m. and proceeded to snooze for the next hour before finally getting out of bed and blasting his music while he showered shaved. If it weren't for the fact that he was twice as big as me, I probably would have killed him too. Frig said. There was a time in my life that I've risked everything by choosing snooze one more time. I was perpetually late for work. I got too comfortable and figured that I worked hard enough that 15-20 minutes late, 2-3 times a week would not be a huge issue. HR told me differently. I have not been late in more than 13 years. Well, almost. Life does get in the way between home and work sometimes. My strategy now is sit up as soon as the alarm goes off and I don't turn off my alarm until I'm standing up. I hate myself for the 10 seconds between the alarm sounding and when I'm standing up, but, as consciousness sets in, the hate slowly turns into the normal state of general apathy I'm accustomed to. Simple. No Butte said. Working from home has really brought into light how incredibly unnecessary that sort of punctuality is. Unless you have a meeting at 9:15, it seems pointless. We often work during lunches and past 6 p.m., more than enough to cover our time loss, and I just wonder if it's a vestige from old expectations at this point. Edit. Okay, I guess I have to actually specify this, but obviously if your job relies on punctuality directly, this doesn't apply. Christ. Avoidance behavior said. I feel this one. I've done reception backup for several years at my office and we used to have a primary receptionist who was later out at least once a week. If not more, she'd get sick all the time and be out for multiple days or come in late, all while living literally down the street within walking distance, and would take insanely long breaks. It drove the rest of us who had to fill in absolutely crazy. BC of all the positions in that building, hers was the one that needed to be filled Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, no exceptions. And it messed up all of our schedules to keep covering. It was honestly a relief when she up and left and they got somebody who is absolutely wonderful and super punctual. I tip my hat to full-time receptionists. BC being locked in the chair all day is rough. Blade 12 said. That being said, you don't have to jump into it like Op did. When I was in the middle of a bad depressive spell, out of it now, due to ADHD, the one hasn't gone away lol, my therapist essentially told me, keep breaking it down until it's something you're confident you can do. regardless of how dumb that one little thing seems. That ended up applying to a lot more than just waking up, but waking up and just getting out of bed was the biggest initial hurdle to clear at the time. So I broke it down to a level I thought I could do. Get up out of bed as soon as your alarm goes off, walk to the bathroom, and then it's up to you. After 5 days, I realized that even that was too much for myself at the time, and scaled back again. Stand up out of bed when your alarm goes off. Also apparently too difficult for me at the time. So I scaled it back to something that seemed so ridiculously simple that there was no way I could fail. When my alarm went off, just sit up in bed before I hit snooze and lay back down. That was apparently the lowest level I had to go to, because I nailed that for 14 days straight without failing to do it. Blade12 said. After that, I made similarly tiny steps to add to it. Next was sit up and move your feet out from under the covers so you're sitting on the edge of the bed with your feet on the floor, which I also did for about a week. Next was stand up once your feet hit the floor, also another week or so, and after that was stand up and walk to the bathroom door, etc. etc. To be completely honest, once I hit stand up, I was probably about 90% of the way there in terms of being ready to say yeah I'm up and just go through the rest of my morning routine. Even when going through the practice phases, once I got to sitting on the edge of the bed with my feet on the floor, I had probably a 70% success rate of just standing up afterwards anyways. At this point I can still sleep if I want to, but if I've set an alarm, at the very least I'll find myself sitting on the edge of the bed within seconds and without really consciously thinking about it. It just took like a month of slowly working my way there, haha. And most people that are trying to do this while depressed or in the middle of building new routines BC of ADHD can probably do it way faster. Rosanimfi said. I was conditioned that way growing up. If you weren't up, dressed, and out of your room within 5 minutes of the alarm, yes, we had them in grade school, the punishment was horrendous. It still makes me shudder just thinking about it. My mother would come in the room singing. The sound alone would peel the skin from your ears. Cats died hearing it, planes crashed and milk curdled. Her singing is the sole reason Earth has not been invaded. To this day, decades later, if the alarm goes off, and I doze, I will wake up in a cold sweat dreading the sound I fear is coming. Mom passed 30 years ago, but I am sure she will still pay me a visit to wake me if I oversleep. Grinning Pariah said. Do something else before all the bullshit. Make time for one round of some game, or a little reading, or whatever. I find that when I lie in bed way too long, what I'm actually doing is procrastinating doing all the morning stuff. Showering, shaving, getting dressed, making coffee, etc. It's work, don't pretend it isn't. So when getting out to bed means you get to do something you actually want to do, it gets a lot easier in my experience. Bubbalicus24 said. This is what I do. I set my alarm so I have time for a quick 30 minutes cardio workout. It's an elliptical before anyone thinks I run down the road at 6 a.m., take a shower, do my hygiene stuff and then play a quick round or two of whatever video game I am currently trying to beat. It makes me less likely to want to kill all my coworkers too, as I usually arrive to work in a better mood than my old way of doing things: wake up, shower and leave for work. Marcus 224,488 said. For me it's a denial thing when I'm in that state. All I can think about is that it's 5 more minutes I don't have to think about going to work and facing all of the bullshit that day. And when I've just woken up, my brain isn't functional yet. I can never remind myself that this behavior only makes things worse. All I can feel is the urge to go back to bed and hide for another 5 minutes. So I set several alarms including kitchen appliances spaced throughout the house over a time span of 5 minutes to force me to get out of bed and go shut them all off, and usually by the time I'm done with that I'm thinking normally again and able to remind myself of work, responsibilities, etc. Kuati said. Simple solution, wake up without alarm. I have never been morning person, but once I tried so-called light clock. Mornings have never been same. It works like it gently increases the lighting in the room in 30 minutes time period before a set time. Then it gently puts on radio and increases its volume as the time progresses. Best thing is that I wake up as energized, depending how much I have slept, of course. But that is something I have never had before. Usually it took me like 2-3 hours to really wake up. Now just 5-15 mins maximum. Edit. Since many has asked where to get it,
Amazon has them. https://www.amazon.com/s???clock prefix @nb_refecul_nb_ss_ts-doa-b_1_11. Don't know how good they are. This is exact model I use. https://www.wellnessproducts.ch/?page equals 1 ampersand line equals an ampersand can equals ampersand id equals 66016. If someone is interested and managed to find one somewhere. Watchin' Things said. This is obvious and yet so underestimated. I do other things that are mentioned on this thread, but this makes the most difference for me. If I get sleep deprived, I struggle to wake and I end up hitting the snooze. That day I force myself to go to sleep early to get more than 8 hours as it's clear that I need it. By getting 8 hours or having the recovery day immediately after trouble waking, I'm able to wake up pretty easily. Fight Flight said. My grandma was a sleep researcher back in the day and she told me that if you go back to sleep after waking up and sleep for like just 10 minutes you will be significantly sleepier than if you don't, since the quality of sleep will be pretty bad. She also said that standing up immediately after you wake up is a great way to tell your body to get ready for the day. Also, getting some sunlight or meditating will really help you feel awakened and feel more ready to tackle the day. So a great routine to start with is placing your phone or alarm somewhere you need to stand up to turn it off. Force yourself to not snooze and instead go into a room with some sunlight and bask in it or meditate for 5 to 10 minutes. I have pretty bad insomnia, but since I started doing this I've been able to survive on fewer hours of sleep while still feeling more awake. Also, the easiest way to make waking up easier is to have a good routine before bed so as to ensure you get better quality sleep. So no screens within 30-60 minutes before bed, no food within 1-2 hours, 2 is ideal, before bed. No alcohol within 1-2 hours of sleep unless it's within 30 minutes, and doing something like reading a book that is not the most interesting. Also, if you can't fall asleep, get up and do something mindless, or if you really don't want to do that, then just try to keep your eyes open. Eventually you'll get so tired they will start closing. Hope this helped. Marcus 224,488 said. For the first 5-10 minutes after I wake up from an alarm, I am not thinking straight. I am not of sound mind. The only part of my head that's functioning are my base emotions, which are telling me to go back to sleep. I set 3 alarms to get up on time and force myself out of bed. 1 on my phone to wake me up enough so that I can hear the alarm from my oven across the apartment, and a 3rd on my phone in case I go back into bed after shutting off the one on the oven. InnerNothing 7779 said. I go to bed at a reasonable time and get good sleep. This is the key. On nights where I stay up too late or get poor sleep, I hit the snooze button. About an hour before bed, turn off your phone. Avoid sources of blue light, such as computers, phones, modern TVs. Eat a light snack, something healthy like a small handful of nuts or seeds. Nothing too sugary. Also, treat your bed as a place for sleep, and nothing else. Except sex. You can do the sex and masturbation there too. But don't use it for school, relaxing, etc. Doing so over a period of a few weeks and your body will start recognizing that when you get into bed, it knows it's time to sleep and sleep will come easier. I have sleep apnea, and had to learn proper sleep habits in order to get good sleep. Once I learned them, it is rare that I get poor sleep and want to hit the snooze. Mainstreusek said. I've never needed an alarm. I have an unfailing internal clock that just somehow knows when to wake me up. I do set one every night, just in case. With that being said, I'm still not motivated to start the day when I wake up. I still have that sit at the end of the bed and contemplate giving up on life moment like everyone else. There's 2 things I do to get over this. Tell myself that my current brain is not allowed to make any important decisions in this booting up phase. 2. Realize that my current state of mind is unpleasant and I want to get out of it ASAP. The best way to do that is to get up and get the day started. I'm chasing the feeling of normalcy that we generally achieve shortly after we get ourselves up and running. It's usually only 10-15 minutes away, and I can deal with that. Join the Astley Cult said. For me it's a sort of love-hate relationship with my body clock. It always, without fail,
Wakes me up at 6 to 7 a.m. When I try to fall asleep then, it's not that I don't manage, it's that I sleep for 15 minutes and wake up feeling like going back to sleep was the worst possible thing I could have done. I hate that feeling, so I just go with the flow and get out of bed and attempt to be productive. It's seriously helpful sometimes, not gonna lie, but I envy the people that can sleep till the afternoon. A lot. So, weirdly, I actually sometimes set my alarm for 3 in the morning, then wake up to it just for the satisfaction of putting it off and going back into a heavy sleep. I'm addicted to the feeling. Mainstreusek said. I always wanted to snooze. Hell, I've been tempted to most of my adult life. But I just feel this overwhelming sense of responsibility to show up for work or whatever it is I have to get up and do. I feel it's my responsibility to make sure I'm up, showered, clothed, and look presentable before leaving the house. I have to be early to things as well. If I have a meeting at 1, I am ready and either outside the door or have all of my remote meeting equipment checked and ready to go at 12:45. If it's an appointment, I'm there early. If I'm with my wife, I tell her that we are going to meet 30-45 minutes after the actual time, so we show up on time. Mainstreusek said I have my alarm set for a specific time. When it goes off, that means it's time to get up. I get up and get ready for the day. My wife will hit the snooze over and over and over, setting an alarm at 7, to keep hitting the snooze until it's 8:30. Because she just can't wake up and go. Me, as soon as I hear that alarm, I'm up and moving. Hitting the snooze is pointless to me. I love sleep, I do. But if it's a work day, or I've got commitments I have to wake up for, I'm going to be awake and on time. Gunoya said. Get rid of your alarm clock with the snooze. If it's your phone, don't worry, you can use it still. Go to Walmart or something and buy at least 2 alarm clocks that don't have snooze and have jarring wake-up noises. An old wind-up bell alarm clock is ideal. Set the first clock to go off 15 minutes before you need to be awake right next to your bed. Set the second alarm clock to go off 10 minutes before you need to wake on the other side of the bedroom. Ideal is that you have to get to your feet to shut it off. Set the third alarm clock to go off 5 minutes before you need to wake and leave it outside your room, but close enough that it is still plainly audible. Back up all of these with your phone, or put 2 alarms on your phone, going off at the desired time, preferably with a loud jarring wake-up noise just outside your room. Use this method to wake up at the same time, every day for at least a few months. After a few months, try simplifying by going to just one no-snooze alarm clock on the other side of the room. On the weekends don't set an alarm clock, wake naturally. Your body will adjust quickly. In most cases, you will likely begin to wake before the awful noise and fully. Note, used this technique when I started delivery of a daily pre-drawn paper as a kid. Reused as an adult trying to overcome the snooze issue myself. The Warp said. I have a sense of responsibility, I suppose. Family responsibilities. I've a bunch of kids and stay-at-home husband to support. Plus look after my share of housework, empty the dishwasher, hang out laundry. That's how we split it. He loads appliances, I empty. Work responsibilities. I'm at senior management level, so I'm the one setting the meetings, calling people to my virtual office. If I'm calling a meeting, the least I can do is attend it and respect their timeliness. Personal responsibilities. To stay healthy I need to get some exercise, feed myself, wash, get dressed, etc. To have enough time to do that and all the rest of responsibilities, I need to get out of bed in the morning. Rice Correct said. I've always been a morning person, to be honest. I naturally wake up around 6 at least 50% of the time. I genuinely like starting out the day and greeting it early. I also know myself to be a person who doesn't like to rush getting ready. I like to take my time, drink my coffee, read the news, make my bed, and shower and get dressed. So I know if I sleep in, I'll have to rush these things, possibly skip things like making my bed or feeling like I look my best, and then I'll feel off the whole day. In short, I value my routine and know I'm a person that doesn't want to feel rushed, so it makes it easy to get out of bed. I also rarely stay up very late, so I'm not often too tired by the time my alarm goes off at 6:37, depending on the day. Dongle said. I got myself an alarm app called Cant Wake Up. You can set up multiple tasks to solve before you can turn off the alarm. In my case, I have to solve a memory puzzle and then get up, go to the bathroom and scan the barcode of my contact lens cleaner bottle. By this time I can usually think straight enough to not go back to bed again. As an added safety, after 20 minutes the alarm starts again really quiet, and if I don't confirm it within 60 seconds, the whole process starts over again. Since about a year now I haven't overslept once and only needed the safety one time. Magicit said, "Make it a habit." It's 10:30 p.m. for me, so it's time for me to shut off my phone and get ready for bed. No screens in the bedroom. Bed's sure for sleep and sex, nothing else. I'm asleep by 11 and awake at 6:30 refreshed and ready to go. I make sure I don't deviate from my routine on the weekends either. Took me about a month to make it a habit, but now I don't even need my alarm, and it has been almost 3 years since I did. I learned my REM cycle is 90 minutes, so this 7.5 hours of sleep gets me 5 full cycles.